What is going on, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? Salami Squad around the world. The meat pack is in the building. It is your boy, Mike Rogers. We got Mike Richman in the cut. We got our first-time guest with us, Mr. Nick Bomba. Say what's happening, fellas.
What's good, boys? Glad to be here. Cannot wait to start talking some sports. Let's get right to it.
Yep, super excited to get the boy Bomba into the DMP with us. So with that being said, today is April 23rd. We are so close to the NFL draft. It is coming up April 29th, 6 days away, boys. I mean, as two Jet fans, you got to be so hopeful right now.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's been some years of hurting going on over there in New York. We got sitting at a pretty good spot here with this second pick. We'll get into that here in a minute. We definitely are excited. I kind of just want to jump right in this draft. Like you said, 6 days away. This is hype. This is the biggest and the most favorite time of this season, the year for a lot of fans. I know I love me some draft time. The whole process, everything, seeing these young players come in and whatnot. So we're just going to kind of jump right in through it, go down the list and kind of branch off some conversations from there. Obviously, with the first pick in the draft this year, still sitting at the Jaguars. And this is the most easiest pick everyone's going to see coming. It's already locked in. The man, Trevor Lawrence. Really not much to be said there. Everybody knows how good Trevor Lawrence is going to be, bringing in Urban Meyer. They got a lot of money to make some moves. I mean, what do we think that rookie season is looking like for Trevor Lawrence? I like some pieces the Jaguars got. They got a nice young core. They can he can get plopped in. They can build around. But I would say, I don't know if I'm looking at no 10-6 or anything, but I see some good numbers. I see nothing but positive going up from here from the Jags.
I'll tell you, in their division, there definitely is potential to go from worst to first. But at the same time, don't bank on it, guys. You guys, if you're a Jags fan out there, you got to nail this draft. You got all the draft picks in the world.
So much capital.
Oh, man. You guys, it's going to be how you do this draft. You do this draft the right way and you nail your picks. There's no reason, like we were saying, 10-6. That's a very reasonable thing if you nail this draft. But same time, we're Jet fans, so I mean, you guys do a Jet move and you mess this up. We'll be seeing you at We'll be seeing you top 5 next year, right?
No, that's fact.
Yeah, I think the expectations for the Jags and Trevor Lawrence himself are just through the roof. I mean, new coach, new management, etc., all coming in. Gigantic draft for them, like you boys were just saying. They have so many picks. Like, it's ridiculous. I mean, they have to get a nice young team here. And they got a couple people I really like. I mean, shout out James Robinson. I've been preaching him for a while. I think that's a young stud. And they got a couple other pieces. I don't know their names because they're not that great. But apparently Trevor Lawrence is about to go in that piece and just run it up. And I would love to see that. I mean, being the number 1 draft, everyone's calling him the prodigy, et cetera. We've all heard it. I mean, he's got to perform to that expectation. And it's up there.
Yeah, no, that'll be – obviously, we already know that pick. It's just going to be more or less let's wait and see what happens here. And we're going to move right on to the Jets here, which I think the consensus around the room is we know what this pick is going to be too, and that's going to be Zach Wilson out of BYU. We obviously saw Sam Darnold get traded to the Panthers. They were able to get some draft capital back and whatnot. And, I mean – Zach Wilson has been growing on me for sure. I mean, I can't sit here at the end of the day. You got to think there's about 5 – quarterbacks that we know are probably going in the first round for sure. And I mean, just based off statistically and throughout NFL history, not all of them are going to be good. And I mean, I like Zach Wilson as the prospect, good arm. I like the feet, good style build, the height, everything's there. He seems like he's got good character too. Is he going to be the franchise leader quarterback like a Patrick Mahomes that we would like as Jets fans? Maybe not. Maybe just a very good game manager at a point in time. It's more or less just going to be building this roster around him. But I think that's the move, man. There's a couple other QBs I do like in this draft, but if the Jets are sold on Zach Wilson, that's what Robert Saleh and the guys want. If they're going to be able to build around him, I mean, I think he's going to be the guy. I mean, to me, as much as I did like Sam Darnold, you kind of really only go up from there. So I don't see, the first couple of years how that could potentially look worse. They're just going to have to put some pieces around him.
Yeah, I'll tell you, when I was going into the draft and I've been going through mock drafts, I'm doing everything since before the Super Bowl even started because our season was over after September ended.
Oh, yeah.
But look, once you start going into it, I'm like, all right, where would Zach Wilson fit? And every single time I go through things, the only place he would fit perfectly would be San Francisco. And I'm like, all right, well, I'd like him he'd be all right on the Jets, but I don't know if he'd be a Jet fit. Off season comes around, you bring in Salah, you bring in that San Fran offense, that San Fran team, all that coaching staff. I'm sitting there like, this could be some dangerous moves in the cooking. I mean, this guy can either be, like we were saying, he's either going to be like what Josh Allen is. He's going to be the guy that takes over the league, or you're going to see the next Johnny Football. I mean, there's really no in between. This guy is going to be the biggest boom or the biggest bust prospect we've seen in, I can't even tell you how long, but going to be an interesting ride, Jet fans. Let's see how we go.
I'm hyped for him. I mean, he sold me on his pro day. He was doing some shit, some arm angles. Like, I was all about it. I'm excited to see him play. And like at number 2, you guys obviously need a quarterback. I think he might be the guy for you. I mean, obviously we got to see how it turns out, but I think that's going to work out for y'all Jets.
Yeah, I think we'll be all right for sure. And I know still we got another pick in the first round sitting at that number 23. I'd like to see him keep bolstering that offense, man. Go up and get you a Najee Harris or something like that. Or maybe
23,
a cornerback or something. Yeah. Oh yeah. He'll be around there for sure. But, somebody, I don't know what they want to do. Zach Wilson is obviously the biggest focal point and whatnot. And then you start looking to go from there. They were able to bring in some Corey Davises and stuff, a couple good pieces I like on offense and defense. So definitely going to be some growing pains, some rookie pains from Zach Wilson, I'm sure. But I think Robert Saleh and the guys will figure things out down here. But speaking of San Francisco, that's the next thing we got here on the list. They made a huge move about a couple weeks ago to get themselves up to that number 3 pick. And to me, you don't do all that. You don't give up all that draft capital if you're not going to take a quarterback right here.
Facts.
Just more or less who it is. Now, my thing is they have said Jimmy G is going to be the guy this year. Now, I know a lot of things are kind of going around right now about Mac Jones. I'm not the biggest Mac Jones right now. I think he's got the lowest ceiling out about all these quarterbacks in this draft. To me, what I do think is the best move, if they know Jimmy G for sure is going to be their guy this year, I'm sitting here. You guys might think this sounds crazy, but I think the quarterback here with the highest ceiling, especially if he's going to sit, is going to be this man, Trey Lance. From a prospect standpoint, from a build standpoint, from the arm, I think there's so much untapped potential with Trey Lance here. And my thing is, if they do end up getting Mac Jones, which if they do, they do. My thing is, and the more I think about this, I don't think it's necessarily going to matter who is at that quarterback position. That's obviously sounds a little crazy, but you got to think Kyle Shanahan is the star of this show. That's his offense. We've seen multiple times over his career. It doesn't really matter who's there at quarterback. He just makes it work from his coaching standpoint. He's a run-first offense. I think Mac Jones does provide a lot of the qualities Jimmy G does. He can stand in the pocket and just get those throws downfield. If they do look to maybe go Justin Fields, guy who can create more plays on his own, I don't know if that's what Kyle Shanahan wants. He wants to put somebody in there that's going to run his offense. Obviously, you can extend some plays here and there, but I don't know. Like I said, they're going to take a quarterback 100%. If it's Mac Jones, I think if they want high risk or low risk, high risk, high reward, they go Trey Lance. But I don't know, man. They can make a couple picks here. I'm not sure who the right one is for 49ers here.
Yeah, I'm sitting here and I'm looking at 3, and it's like you said, it's going to be a quarterback. It's not even a question or any debate. They're going quarterback. And like you were saying, if you want to go high risk, high reward, you're going Trey Lance. Guys, the ultimate boom or bust prospect. He's on the same level as Zach Wilson. Guy's going to be a star. He's going to be a bust. You look at Mac Jones, that's honestly probably what you're looking at Shanahan wants, because he's a guy that, hey, run my offense and do what I say, and that's what Mac Jones is. He's a puppy dog on the leash.
Especially coming from that Alabama. I mean, that's what they do.
But I'll tell you, they want to make a splash and they want to go and make a run at things. Fields is the guy to go. Like, you bring in that guy, his arm talent, I'd say he'd even be up there with Trevor Lawrence. Only difference is just a little bit of arm talent. But you look at what they can do on the run, on the move, from high school. Both guys were the number 1, number 2 quarterback through their college careers. Both of them have put up numbers that honestly are like Madden, NCAA numbers. Like, these are not human numbers. These are some video game type numbers. These guys are throwing up on the ground and through the air. So if you want the guy that I believe would be day one, come in, take the league by storm, after Trevor Lawrence, it's going to be Justin Fields. So It's really going to be, do you want the puppy dog? Do you want high risk, high reward? Or do you want to go after Fields, who he's not going to necessarily go and be your molded quarterback and do what you want, stay in the pocket. But the guy's going to sure as all can be win you games every week.
Oh, yeah.
No, I mean, my personal lean, I like Justin Fields here. And, like, even if he doesn't end up in San Fran, that kid's going to come into the league with such a chip on his shoulder just because the Ohio State quarterback thing. And he is great. Like, that kid's got awesome talent. But, yeah, just personal lean, I think San Fran takes him. Justin Fields.
You think they do take him, or that's who?
Yeah, no, I think they take him.
I'm 100% certain they're going to take Mac Jones. I think Justin Fields is the move. I think I'm just like we both said. I don't think Kyle Shanahan's going to want. I don't know. We'll see what happens, but we're going to move on to the Falcons here, which I kind of want to make the same argument I did.
Kind of need a quarterback.
And Justin Fields.
This is where I'll say this before we get going. Like the first 3 picks, it's what's going to go down. You don't know some of the players in 2 and 3, but 4 is really where this draft you're going to see this thing really start kicking off. This is where the draft begins at 4.
Yeah, this is when it gets crazy. I mean, my take with this pick is if. Listen, here's my thing. You got Matt Ryan for 2 more years, and you are not going to be able to trade him away unless he restructures his whole contract. That's too much of a cap. They can't cut him at the dead cap. And here's my thing. Even though he's 37, I don't think Matt Ryan is a scrub at all. Honestly,
I think he'll finish out the last 2 years great.
I think he'll finish out strong. So, I mean, if Atlanta does want to look to go quarterback here, I think they go with a Trey Lance. I think a guy that is going to have to sit a couple years, and I think Matt Ryan would be a good person for him to learn behind. But honestly, with this roster Atlanta has right now, I mean, they're sitting at that 4 spot for a reason. And I honestly think they trade back in this pick. But my thing is, if I got Matt Ryan and I got Julio Jones, who's aging, I got Calvin Ridley, you can kind of just plug in a running back at this point. I'm going to give Matt Ryan more weapons if he has 2 more years left. I'm going Kyle Pitts right here if I'm the Atlanta Falcons. Go ahead and get Kyle Pitts, man. Honestly, I think he's the best player in the draft. I know Trevor Lawrence is there, but for his position, the only reason I say that I think is because I think the gap between Trevor Lawrence and the next best quarterback is a lot closer than Kyle Pitts is to the next tight end. I think it's night and day. I think Kyle Pitts is freaky athlete and whatnot, but if I got Matt Ryan for the next 2 years, it'd honestly be a smart play to lock in your future and whatnot. Go get you a Trey Lance, Justin Fields, who can sit for a year or 2. But let's take a shot and win now. We got offense. I know they really, really struggled on defense this year. That's why they're sitting there, so they can maybe look at a Micah Parsons or whatnot if they decide to move back. But if you're sitting here on this 4 pick, let's booster that offense up a little more, man. Go get that monster Kyle Pitts out of Florida, bro. I think that's the only move right here.
Oh, I completely agree with that. You look at it, and Kyle Pitts, I don't want to compare him because how do you compare him to one of the GOATs in the game? But, man, you're putting Calvin Johnson as a tight end pretty much with that guy. You're talking freakish size, the biggest wingspan in NFL history. Can I just put that again? Biggest wingspan in the history of the NFL on a tight end, on a guy that's, 6'6", and runs a, 4.4?
Yeah, 4.43.
A 4.43. You don't see guys that are like 5'10" run a 4.43. And you got a man that's 6'6" and has the largest wingspan in NFL history running 4.43.
We thought DK was a freak, bro. This dude right here is
It's a Madden NFL fucking 99 right here. I do think they should take Kyle Pitts, though. I agree. But I think one way or the other, if they don't go tight end route, they're going to get a weapon because Julio is kind of reaching the end of his career, struggling to stay healthy. I mean, Calvin Ridley is insane and is replacing Julio, honestly. But, that's a whole nother thing to think about. Julio's at the end of his ropes here. He's got a couple more years. That's it.
Wouldn't be surprised if you see them go day 2 on a nice receiver, find somebody just to be that backup, that third receiver. Because you bring in a guy like Pitts and you bring in a receiver day 2, man, you're really saying, hey, look, we're laying everything on the line.
You're looking at 30, 40 points a game.
Yeah, whoever gets Kyle Pitts, it's going to be one of the best drafts they ever have. It's just going to work out.
Exactly, I can't agree more.
Yeah, so let's move on here. We got Cincinnati Bengals in the crew. Now, this is another one I've had to mull over a little bit because to me, the biggest need when I'm thinking Bengals right now is that offensive line. We obviously saw Joe Burrow go down and whatnot early in the year. So obviously the goal would be to protect him and whatnot. My only thing is I think there's two sides of this coin here. I think they could go look to get a weapon. They could go get one of these wide receivers, one of these Chases, Waddles, or whatnot. But I do think the right move would be, I mean, this draft has a lot of really good sleeper offensive line guys, but I think they need to go ahead right here and get one of the top guys. I'm kind of mulling over right now whether that's Rashawn Slater, whether that's Sinead Pinot. I don't know how to say his last name, but you know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Elijah Vera Tucker, to me, that'd be a big stretch at that 5 spot, but I think it's got to be at least Pinay or Rashawn Slater right here. I don't know who we like more.
Yeah, I think we're on the same page here. You look at it, man, how much fun it would be to see the Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase combo. And we all know Burrow's campaign to get that to happen, but at the same time, you got to look at it. The last thing we saw of Joe Burrow was him on the ground holding that knee. Like, man, you're talking your franchise quarterback here. I don't care if you give him A.J. Green, Julio Jones, and DeAndre Hopkins all in their prime. If the guy doesn't have an O-line, it doesn't matter who he's got out there catching passes. He's going to be on the ground still. You got to protect your quarterback. You got to protect your future, and you spend a number 1 overall pick on the guy. You got to protect him.
That's facts. You said it all for me. That's the smart move. But hot take, they're getting Jamar Chase. I'm calling it right now. They're going to go for the receiver. It's not the right draft choice. I 100% agree.
I don't think that's not the right draft choice. Though.
I think they're taking
Jamar Chase. I mean, that's to me
the
insane.
only thing that
get guys in round 2 and 3.
Fair enough. I think they're going weapon. I think they're going weapon.
The only thing that could really sway it is both receiver and O-line. I think this is probably one of the deeper draft classes for both receiver and O-line. So whichever way they go, they decide, hey, Chase is our guy. We're going to take the best receiver in the class, hands down. Well, you know what? You go round 2, there's going to be at least 4 or 5 good tackles, guards, and a center.
The Bengals really kind of struggled through free agency. They didn't pick up too many weapons. I don't even know what they got.
Yeah, and I mean, they're solid at running back, obviously having Joe Mixon there. So, I mean, I like a few of the receivers they got right now, T. Higgins and whatnot. But, yeah, if they went ahead and Jamar Chase, I think we all agree that Jamar Chase would be the first guy taken off that list for sure. But then I sit here and look at this Dolphins pick, and I think this Dolphins pick is going to play right off of what the Falcons and the Bengals do. If the Falcons decide to go quarterback, whatnot, if the Bengals decide to go with a lineman, I think the Dolphins, they're in that prime spot. They would immediately take Jamar Chase right there to pair up with Tua to just give Tua a weapon to see what he can do this year. But I think, let's say Jamar Chase isn't sitting there, Kyle Pitts isn't sitting there. They would probably look to go with a Waddle or a Devontae Smith.
I like Devontae Smith better.
At that Smith, I personally just like me some Waddle better. He's a burner and whatnot. I think that would be good for Tua. And both those guys are former teammates of Tua. 2-3 years back, they played with him on that same Alabama team. So either one of those guys getting in, there'd be some rapport already built. But it would just kind of be who they thought would fit better at that point. I've sat here and thought about other potential guys they could go, but I think at this pick they 100% have to go receiver. Just depending on how the Falcons fall and the Bengals fall. I mean, if Pitts or Jamar Chase are sitting there at 6, Dolphins will 100% get either or. If not, I think we're looking at Waddle or Smith here.
I think this is really going to come down to what happens with the Bengals. Bengals go with that big tackle, then you're going Chase. If you go Chase, then they're taking Swell right out of Oregon. It's one of those two. It's the same exact situation we were describing with the Bengals. You need an O-line, you need a receiver.
I can see that.
Whichever one the Bengals take, we'll just take the opposite because you got to remember, unlike the Bengals, Dolphins have 2 first-round picks.
Facts.
So if they go and Dolphins are sitting there, all right, well, we took the O-line with our first one. You know what's back end of the first round? That's a Bateman. That's Tony. That's pick your poison. Or same time, you go and you pick up Chase. Well, that's back end. That's picking up a Cosme. That's picking up an Eichberg. That's picking up Leatherwood. You got the amount of talent in that back end of the first round. Man, that is some first-round talent if it's any other year. Or early first-round talent if it's any other year. So It's going to be whatever
here's
the
my
Bengals
question,
come
though. Do you think you could get more value out of that second pick at the first round with an Alaric Jackson or a Leatherwood, but compared to wide receiver you could get at that position? Because I think Waddle or Smith or Jamar Chase would grade higher than any other wide receiver. I mean, because who would we be looking at receiver in that later half of that round? I mean, Amon St. Brown and all that. I'm not too sure. I think the value pick there, I don't know. To me, there's just a lot of deep, good offensive linemen in this draft coming up.
There is, but at the same time, I'm looking. It's like if you see a good player.
He's a move, though. That dude can move bodies.
Yeah, you look at that guy. It's his tape. The guy is just, it's not human what that man does. There's, out of this whole O-line class, there's a lot that are good, but there's only, I'd say 2, maybe 3 that are just freaks. And my boy from Oregon, man, he doesn't move bodies. He is, man, that guy's Waffle House 24/7, just pancakes, making them all day. This is something with this guy.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, a lot of stuff's going to happen there around that Dolphins pick. And then we're sitting here looking at this Lions pick at 7. I think this is kind of more or less going to be the same. They just lost Kenny Galladay. I still believe and bringing in Jared Goff to go ahead and get him a weapon. If one of those receivers are sitting there, which I think there will be, I think they should look to replace what they lost in Galladay. Or if they want to look the other direction, go ahead and get that defense. I still, like I said, I'm a big fan of Micah Parsons, somebody that can lock down that front 7. I don't know if they'd go with one of those cornerbacks that early at 7. Obviously, who'd they draft last year? Not Darius Slay.
Swift, DeAndre Swift.
No,
the corner
or something out of Virginia Tech. I forgot.
I know who you're talking.
Yeah, so I don't know if they make that move, but I think, like I said, between once it gets to that Bengals pick or that Falcons pick, a lot of stuff's going to happen here to where I think if a receiver's sitting there for the Lions at 7, they, like I said, I think they look to get Goff a weapon. If not, I easily think they look to just get somebody on that defense. I think Micah Parsons would be the best guy for them at that spot. But
I completely agree. Unless something unreal happens and you don't have Waddle, Chase, and Devontae Smith, it's no questions. You're walking up there and you already have Waddle's name on the jersey. You know you're taking that guy by the second you walk in the door. Give Goff some weapons. You got to bring some life to that Lions offense.
Yeah, I agree. They need one more weapon over there.
Definitely need one more weapon. Speaking of weapons, add-in weapons, going to move on to the Panthers here. Obviously, just traded for Sam Darnold. Probably going to look to get rid of Teddy Bridgewater and whatnot. I still see some people thinking they might go quarterback here. Might look to, if Justin Fields is sitting there at 8, I don't know if that'd be too hard to pass up on. But I think if they're going to rock with Sam Darnold, the move here for them is offensive linemen. Like you said, if you had Penei Sewell going 6th to the Dolphins, I think they're probably going to go ahead and look to take Rashawn Slater, or whoever is there at that spot, whether it's Sewell, Slater, and then maybe look to go down the line on some of those guys. But Sam Darnold has the weapons and McCaffrey and Robbie Anderson and the guys they have there on offense. I like the defense. I think the defense still has about a year or 2 to go to being really good because they're really young for the Panthers. So I do think they look to secure somebody down there for Sam Darnold. This situation Sam Darnold is going to is already anything better than the Jets have presented to him in the last 3 years. But go ahead. I think it would be a lock, easy, smart pick right here for the Panthers to go ahead and get one of those big boys up front.
No, 100%. Slater, you bring him in, protect Darnold. Look, Darnold never had an O-line, never had weapons, never had a coach. Now you're bringing him to a team that's got O-lines, weapons, and a coach. It's a lock. Bring in Slater, protect Darnold, got a future. Easy pick.
Yeah, I agree. They got to bolster that up just a little bit. But Carolina's just really not in too bad of a spot. That's just a middle-graded team for me right now. I'm excited to see what they do next season, if they can put it together or not.
Definitely excited to see what they could do. They had a fun, exciting offense to watch last year for sure.
They covered the spread like every week. Dude.
Oh, yeah. They're going to be a fun team this year. They're going to be a very fun team to watch this year.
Definitely going to be fun, especially in that division where a lot of points are being scored. But all right, going to move on here to the last 2 picks. The only reason I'm kind of going to bunch these together, we're going to talk about the Broncos and the Cowboys, is because the thing here now, Broncos is a different. To me, the Cowboys 100% need to go defense. They 100%, I'd say, need to get one of these cornerbacks in Patrick Surtain or Caleb Farley. Depends on whoever you like more. I'd like me some Patrick Surtain out of Alabama. His dad was a pretty good ball player. But they need that. The Cowboys were like terrible last year in the secondary. They need a guy in that cornerback safety hybrid role. Doesn't matter. Maybe look to even go Micah Parsons too. I'm just really high on Micah Parsons out of Penn State. That's the only reason I keep bringing him up.
How are you not?
I think he's worth the top 10 pick for sure. But the Broncos to me are where it gets interesting, because if you're sitting at number 8 there or number 9, was it 8, 9 for the Broncos? I mean, you could be. To me, I'm not sold on Drew Lock. I'm not sold on Drew Lock, and I think the Broncos have the weapons on offense. So I do see a lot of mock drafts going where they do pick up the cornerback, Caleb Farley, Patrick Surtain, one of those guys. They do need that spot, especially with losing Chris Harris. But could be sitting Justin Fields, Trey Lance, could be sitting there. I mean, what do the Broncos do here? I don't know.
Well, you're sitting there, it's the Broncos. You don't know what to do. I'll tell you, it's pretty simple. You go and you're trading back here. Look, rumors around the league, Teddy Bridgewater is going to be moved because you're sitting as Panthers. There's no chance Teddy's going to be staying in Carolina. It's over. It's done with. His plane ticket's already booked.
All right.
So bring him into Denver. You got competition. You saw what Bridgewater could do in Carolina. Played well. Give Drew Lock the last shot. If he doesn't play out, well, you know what? You got a good QB class next year. Go. I'd say this one's going to surprise a bit of fans, but you know what I'm saying? You trade back to Minnesota. Look, Minnesota, I mean, Kirk, he's played all right, but you brought that guy in. You paid him big bucks. You said, hey, we want Super Bowls. The guy's like, I'll get you to the playoffs. And then, I mean, maybe we'll play decent. But, I mean, look, guy hasn't been playing well, and after next year, you're owing him some stupid money. So why not right now go bring him in? And I still say Trey Lance right here, and you go to Minnesota, though. Ooh. Trey Lance in Minnesota, set him up with Justin Jefferson.
If that happens, bro, that would be insane.
That's what I mean. Like, Minnesota fans, if that happens, you're going to be in some good shape there.
That would definitely be awesome. Now, yeah, Minnesota could look. Now, there's 2 teams I have in mind, which I want to ask, do we think move up? Because I think the most flexible spot here for a team would be the Falcons at number 4, depending on what they want to do. Maybe we see the Bears try to make a play, swing up there. Or the Patriots. We see one of those teams moving up.
I'll tell you the team I'd see move up before the Bears or Patriots. I'd see Washington. Washington's going to want to make a splash. You just lost a quarterback that it may go down as possibly one of the top 10 biggest busts in NFL history. Like,
Dewey Haskins.
The guy just couldn't play. So I'm saying if you're sitting there at 9 and then all of a sudden there's one quarterback left, I'd say the realistic spot would be probably pick number 13. Pick number 13. That is going to be the golden ticket for somebody, because that's going to be either Washington, that's going to be either Patriots, or that's going to be the Bears. Somebody's going to try to trade up there, and that's going to be Mac Jones. Mac Jones, you will not see make it past pick number 14. I guarantee by pick 14, Mac Jones is going to be gone.
I could see that for sure. I could definitely see that.
Hot call here. All right, just calling random shit. Denver's going to take Mac Jones.
Definitely.
You heard it here first.
I'm not going to lie. That would be the most John Elway move in the history of John Elway.
I don't know. I don't see that
on a guy that's moderate reward, high risk.
Yeah, that franchise is just not going to build around Drew Lock. I'm going to tell you that's what's not going to happen. So.
I think they are, though. He's just not that good.
That's what I'm saying. He's
does he need?
And that's why I'm saying trade away.
How many weapons does he need?
Trade away.
Burners
over there in defense and bring in Bridgewater. Tell him, look, Bridgewater or you. It's one of the two.
I like all that, bro.
And if you guys don't do it, then you know what? We're going to go and we're going to take who's the young bull from Oklahoma? Rattler.
Yeah.
Spencer Rattler. We'll bring in Rattler. It's going to be the complete opposite of what Elway likes. But, man, could you imagine him running around with Jerry Jeudy, our boy from Penn State, Fant, and the rest of that Denver offense.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's definitely a lot of movement, a lot of stuff that could happen, man. Like I said, we get past that, we get to that 9 spot too. A lot of things going to open up. This is going to be a crazy draft, fellas.
Yeah, shit's open after 4. You said it, Bomba. It's just after that, we're just guessing, you know?
After 4, it is going to be a lot of guessing, but I'll tell you guys, it is hands down probably one of the deepest drafts. You're going to be finding day 1 starters all the way into day 3 of this draft. And I'm not talking like just early day 3. You're going to find guys in round 6 and possibly even around 7.
Oh, yeah, there's some guys here, man.
You got some serious ballers this year. This is probably one of the deepest draft classes we've seen in a long time.
Definitely hyped to watch. This is my favorite time of year, the NFL draft. That is happening April 29th. A lot of teams' futures are going to be decided. A lot of these young men are going to get the opportunity to go play in the NFL, earn some money, get that clout up. That being said, though, I'm hyped. Get the fuck out of here.
Perfect.